Hi, and welcome to the Fantasy Playoff edition of the Podell180. I'm Ethan Podell. Today is December 4th, and today I'm going to give you the best pickups, players to start, and others for the starting of the fantasy playoffs or for the last week before you enter the playoffs or hopefully make it. First, I'm going to go with Cam Newton, who, let's be honest, he's playing the Saints, and with the way he's been playing, I expect him to have a huge game. Second, I really like Ben Roethlisberger, and he's a must-start unless you have another top 5 QB. With his wide receiver corps of Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, and even Marcus Wheaton breaking out last week, I don't see how you can't start him. And I pick up Ryan Fitzpatrick, who should have a big game against the Giants with a pretty beat-up secondary, and I would start him over the likes of Phillip Rivers and even Derek Carr with tough matchups. Going to running backs, I love Jonathan Stewart, and once again, the Saints really have no defense. Jonathan Stewart's been the only running back with 20 carries in the last 6 games, and yes, Adrian Peterson's included in that stat. If his touchdowns come, he's a top 5, maybe even a top 3 running back just because of the workload. Second, I really like Javorius Allen if you haven't picked him up yet, or Buck Allen as they call him on air. I really like him in a matchup with Joe Flacco, or Matt Schaub in this case, is passing the ball a ton to the running backs, and in PPR, I love him. He's had a lot of good runs after the catch, and last week he had 4 catches for 29 yards and a touchdown. Thirdly, Mark Ingram, I think the Panthers will make him struggle this week, and I really wouldn't start him over players like David Johnson, who I would suggest you pick up after Chris Johnson went out with an injury, with a fractured tibia. He's done for the year, and David Johnson's been touted as a very talented player and looks like he's ready to step in. Going to wide receivers, Odell Beckham. You may think, oh, he's playing the Jets, so I can't start him because of Revis. Well, no, Revis is injured this week, and that makes Beckham a really good start, actually. Cromartie's been struggling all year, and the Jets haven't had any other secondary player besides Revis really stepping up. I also think Julio Jones and Antonio Brown, both having lackluster weeks last week, will get back to form this week against not as tough defenses. And in terms of the pickup, I'd go with Vincent Jackson, and a lot of the attention on the Bucs goes to Mike Evans, and Jackson's put up back-to-back solid weeks, PPR or not, and even if you own him, he's a Mike Evans handcuff. Same Mike Evans went out, he's going to be the only person on that offense. Going to tight ends, I love Greg Olsen and the Saints. I love Greg Olsen once again playing the Saints, and he's just the only go-to receiver on that team, even as the tight end. He'll get a ton of action and a lot of points. Next, Delanie Walker, same as Greg Olsen. I think he's just the focal point of the offense. Mariota loves throwing to him, and he's not touchdown reliant. Neither of them are. And I love tight ends that get a lot of targets, don't need much touchdowns to score points, and they're the focal point of their offense. And in terms of pickup, you have to pick up Scott Chandler. And I would start him against any other tight end this week with no Gronk, and I think that just as long as Gronk doesn't play,